Good day, students at home. Once again, you are welcome to Agricultural Science on here. In our last episode, we discussed on agricultural finance. And under that agricultural finance again, we spoke on implications of farm credit. And under the implications of farm credit, as we started it from our last episode, we discussed on high interest rate, and we discussed also on the collateral security. Under the interest rate, it was stated that the banks, what they do is they provide money, they provide credit to farmers with high interest rates. And when there is a high interest rate, it leads to low people, that is the number of people going for that money, it will reduce, and vice versa. And at the same time, we went ahead that time to speak about the collateral security, that there is no bank that will give out money without collateral security. And when you talk about collateral security now, these are the things, these are the materials, these are the assets which had to be given to the bank before loans can be procured. And today we are moving ahead with the implications of agricultural finance, the implications of credit. And what we said was that in that last episode was that the agricultural finance, the procurement of loans or credit for farming activities is associated with some implications. And these implications, again, may be a long gestation period of some crops. When we talk about the long gestation period, that is the period that particular project will last before the money can be repaid by the farmer. For an example, some crops like rubber, cocoa, and oil palm, they take a very long time to mature. What we are saying is that when you talk about this long gestation period, the period in between the time the money is taken from the bank and repayment it depends. If the period is very, very long, now we have some crops like rubber, cocoa, and oil palm. They take a very long time to mature. And if any loan is to be procured for this kind of project, then definitely it's likely to be a medium-term credit or long-term credit, which the banks may not be able to even give to the farmer. And the banks, they find it difficult to grant loan to farmers engaged in the cultivation of such crops. That is what we are saying. That is, when any crop that have a long gestation period, that is, the crop that will mature maybe 5, 6, 7 years before the repayment can be made, then definitely the banks will find it difficult to grant loan to farmers with such an idea. And another one is the unpredictable climate, which can lead to crop failure. This is another implication of farm credit, because one thing is agricultural business is a kind of business that nobody can predict the climate. You cannot predict the climate. And so with this kind of agricultural venture, then the banks, they may not want to grant loans to farmers, just because by the time they plant maize now, for an example, if rain falls now and you start to plant your maize, already you have taken the loan from the bank. If after some time the rain stops and there is no rain again, it can lead to crop failure. Then where will the money be gotten to be repaid? That is what we are saying. That is, unpredictable climate, which can lead to crop failure, is another implication of farm credit. Then another one is lack of farm records. Now we have talked a lot about keeping of farm records and accounts in our previous episodes. And one thing is, farmers, they lack good farm records of all their activities. Most of the farmers, they have never kept any record on their farm. They have never kept anything, no account, no record on the farm. And this one may affect productivity because they don't know, maybe they are making profit or they are making a loss. And the farmers, they lack good farm records of all their activities. Now, another one is that these are used to assess their credit worthiness. That is, they are used to assess their credit worthiness. That is, when they have their records, like they have the balance sheet, they have the profit and loss account. By the time the bankers, the banks, they check that particular record, then they will be able to know how profitable the farming business had been in that particular area. And another one is we have high level of loan defaulters. High level of loan defaulters. This is a very important one because in fact, when loan is given out to farmers, they are supposed to be paid back. I said something that it is good to obtain loan from whichever source, but it is better to pay back on time. Now, we have so many loan defaulters. If these loan defaulters, if they are many, then it will even disturb the bank from giving out loan to other farmers. Then farmers may not be able to repay the principal, let alone the interest charge, in case of natural disaster. What we are saying is that in case there is a natural disaster, for the loan to be paid, in fact, to even pay the principal may be difficult, not to talk of paying the interest. And so there will be so many people that will not even be able to pay back, leading to defaulters being many in the country. And if we have so many defaulters, then it will spell doom for the bank. And apart from the bank, then other farmers that actually want to enjoy part of the loan portfolio may not have access to it. Then another one is lack of insurance policy. Farmers do not take insurance on their farms. What we are saying in essence is that in countries now, we now have a National Agricultural Insurance Company, and what they do is to bear risk on behalf of the farmers. That is, when you want to establish a farm, courtesy demands that that particular farm must be insured. Peradventure, there is problem. Peradventure, there may be problem. In fact, the insurance can be against fire outbreak. It can be against, let's say, it can be against natural disaster. But premium must be paid as at when due, so that when there is problem, then the insurance company will now take over the responsibility of returning you back to the status quo. Now, the farmers, they do not take insurance on their farm. There are several farmers that they have large hectares of land that they have never for once insured their farm. And this insurance is also very, very important that, in fact, it is very, very important that insurance is done on the farm, most especially where you have animals like poultry. If there is any outbreak of disease in your poultry and it is never due to your own negligence, and there are lots of casualties, lots of mortalities, then definitely it is the responsibility of the insurance company that, the insurance company to come into your rescue. That is that. So lack of insurance policy is one of the implications of farm credit. In fact, there is no bank that any farmer goes to now for any credit facility that the farmer will not be requested to insure the particular farm. Then another one is lack of moratorium. Lack of moratorium. Farmers do not take insurance on their farms, and apart from that, we have the lack of moratorium, which is very, very important. This moratorium is the period, is what we term the period of grace. After a particular farmer has taken, after he has taken the loan, then courtesy demands that he has to be given a period of grace. Because if you plant maize today, it is not that same day, it is not that same month that you will start having anything on that farm, or cannot have anything on that maize farm until after about 4 months. And so there should be a kind of moratorium. But what we experience is that the banks are not giving any moratorium to the farmers. If there are, in fact, it's just like when we talked about the long gestation period as being an idling block for granting of loan. Now, a farmer that has taken a loan for planting of rubber, definitely before that rubber can start to even bring forth anything, it may take about 5 to 7 years. So when there is no moratorium, then there will be problem. There will be problem, and that is one of the implications of farm credit. And the next one is we have the land tenure system. Land tenure system is another implication. And when we say land tenure system now, you are talking about the way through which lands are being acquired by individual or by the government for either temporary or permanent use. And so the prevalent land tenure system works against procurement of agricultural loan. What we are saying is that the prevalent land tenure system in our area, it works against procurement of loan, because the land that you may likely use as collateral security may not even belong to you alone. And so you cannot use the family land to procure loan from the bank, because the papers for the loan, the papers for the land may not even be with you, because you are not the sole owner of such a land. And so the prevalent land tenure system works against procurement of loan. And the next one is the small farm holdings. We can say that the farm holdings are too small and uneconomical to operate for mechanization and profit. What this one means is that most of the farmers, when you say small farm holdings, that means, in fact, a particular farm can be categorized into, we have the small farms, we have the medium scale farms, and we have the large scale farms. And when you talk about the small farm holdings now, you are talking in the region of maybe between 5 to 10 hectares. 5 to 10 hectares. And what we are saying is that these small farm holdings, because they are too small, they may not be economical to operate for mechanization. They may not be economical for mechanization and profit. And what this one also means is that when you have a farmer with small farm holding, it may be for subsistence, that is, to produce for himself and his family is possible. But when it is small, then it can be sold when there is excess. But what we are saying is that when the farm holding is very small, then what will happen is that how many crops, how many stands of maize are you going to plant on that particular land for you to pay back millions of naira back to the bank? That is what we are saying. And when the farm holding is very small, it may not be very difficult, it may not be very easy for mechanization. Without mechanization, in fact, with mechanization, productivity increases. But without mechanization, in fact, the productivity may even reduce. And so you need to work very hard. Then, number I, lack of awareness. As a result of high level of illiteracy among farmers, they are hardly aware of the existence of loan facilities in the bank. What we are saying is that most of the farmers, they lack awareness about this loan. Most of them, they are not even aware that they can even seek for loan in the bank. They are not aware of that unless the literate farmers. And then, J, we have bureaucracy. Under this bureaucratic process, red tapeism leads to non-disbursement of loans to farmers. We have several bureaucratic processes before loan can be got from the bank. Because what happens is that the bank, you move from one place to another. And having gone through all those processes, now we are moving to the assessment segment. Explain briefly 5 reasons why peasant farmers find it difficult to get farm credits. Explain briefly 5 reasons why peasant farmers find it difficult to get credits. The response to this should be sent to, you send it to the address that shall be displayed at the base of your screen. And until next time, when we come your way again, you have a rewarding day.